Okay, welcome. Time to begin, so let's do that. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. Those here in the live audience, those in the broadcast audience, we appreciate you being here. Really do. It makes it much better than just being by myself, eh? I'm speaking a little Canadian there for Vicki's sake, eh? So anyway, it's nice to have you. I'm Dr. Doug Kelley, of course. The Spirit of Life weekly service is an educational program of the International Church of Metaphysical Humanism. We have a number of educational programs. This is one of them. We also have the Institute of Metaphysical Humanistic Science, which is our school where you can get your bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degree in metaphysics. We have ICMH World, which is another school for standalone courses. We have EmpoweredRecovery.com, which is for the friends and family of alcoholics and addicts. And we have a bunch of, we have Paranexus.org too, which is our anomalous research leg, if you will. So that's some of what we do. Tonight on the program, I'm going to be continuing our topic from last week, using critical thinking skills to solve life's problems. And I'll give you a bunch of good tips for problem solving and solution finding. And then Dr. Vicki Hunter will be speaking on body, thought, memory integration part 2. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, she talked about that. Part 2 is how to change body memory, and she's going to be doing our guided meditation tonight once she gets done with her part. And then after that, of course, we'll have our Enspirit forum. We'll do our announcements, and then I'm going to do something a little bit new, which is more of a general reading using the inner oracle cards. So something, throw it against the wall, see if it sticks, right? My philosophy. So that's what we've got in store for tonight. I'd like to read our abbreviated principles of belief, and then we'll pick a card to act as the theme for tonight. This is just an abbreviated version of our 9 principles of belief. Number 1 is, of course, do no harm, do right. Number 2, we believe in the indomitable power of the human spirit. The answers we seek already exist within us. Number 3, we believe that we alone are responsible for and capable of solving human social problems. Number 4, we are equal. One planet, one race, one ancestry, one destiny. Number 5, we recognize and honor the divine energy that exists in all living things. 6, we are physical and spiritual beings. Consciousness survives death of the physical body. Number 7, self-acceptance, self-responsibility, and respect for free will creates self-completeness. Number 8, metaphysical education and practical life skills empower the human spirit and enhance the human condition. And number 9, expanding human consciousness leads to human evolution and peaceful coexistence. And for more information on these 9 principles of belief or anything else about the church, please visit metaphysicalhumanism.org. Let's do our card poll to act as a theme for tonight's program. If you're new to this, these are our inner oracle cards. They're self-discovery cards. They're not tarot cards. They're basically to get you thinking. And so these cards were designed by us to cover about everything we teach in little miniature form, so to speak. So I'm going to pull one to see what will be our theme. Get in the zone. This is the one. It's number 3. Be who you are. Walk your own path. That's a good one, eh? Be who you are. Walk your own path. That, I'm sure, will come back. Card number 3. So we'll use these a little bit more when we get to that part of the program. Okay. Let's get into my topic, using critical thinking skills to solve life's problems. Let me tell you a little story. I read this story in the book U Squared by Dr. Price Pritchett many years ago. It's a little booklet that he had. And it's about a fly at the window. And you've seen this, right? You ever seen a fly buzzing at a window and it trying to get outside, right? And it buzzes and buzzes and flies keep bumping into it. And what do you see? What happens in the end? They die on the windowsill, right? But isn't it interesting that fly, all it had to do was turn around 180 degrees and fly out through the open door behind it. Think about that for a minute when it comes to solving problems in life. How many times, if ever, maybe you haven't experienced this, maybe you have, how many times has it happened when the solution that we thought was in a certain direction, it wasn't there at all? It was 180 degrees behind us. It was something that we would never even thought of doing. Well, we're going to talk more about that. That's actually thinking contrarian. I call it the 180 principle, turn around. You know the old definition for insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome or result. That's common, and yet we find ourselves doing that sometimes, don't we? And another quote that you may have heard before that I've used for a long time: if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So that tells us that we can't stay static. And life is not static. You've heard that. The only thing that changes, right, is change. I mean, change, you can't stay still, because if you do, you'll get left behind. There is no such thing as that. We change every second on the cellular level, so we can't stand still. So this part is about critical thinking skills, but it's going to be really slanted toward problem solving. Think about your life right now. Maybe you have some adversity. I know a lot of people do. We've all been through it one way or another. Some very bad, many very bad, some not so bad. Doesn't matter. If you've got a problem right now that you're trying to figure out, you have a choice. You can either take care of the problem now, or you can suffer longer and still take care of the problem later. But either way, you will take care of it eventually, or you'll die from the pain. I call that my now or later rule. So you have a choice. And the interesting thing is we put off tough decisions at times, especially if they involve toxic relationships and things like that. We'll put them off. Well, maybe they'll get better. Maybe they'll change, blah, blah, blah. And we keep enduring the same stuff, and we're in denial, and it never changes, does it? Until we change. When the pain of change becomes less than the pain of remaining the same, we change. But that's usually the last resort. So think about that right now. There's no reason why we have to suffer longer, because that's the only difference. I mean, if you've got a serious problem like that, you can change it now, or you can change it later. It's going to change either way, right? The only difference is the middle part, where you suffer longer. Something interesting to think about. All right, before I get too much further into problem solving, let's talk about deductive versus inductive reasoning. Now, if you're like me, and I know some are, because I read your essay, when I first encountered, years ago, when I first encountered inductive versus deductive reasoning, I'm thinking, holy crap, can you guys make this any more complicated? You know, it's like the greater to the simpler, and the simpler to the greater. I'm thinking, this makes no sense. And you read different explanations of it, and they seem to conflict. It's like, it's like you need something just to get through it. So in one of our doctoral degree program, course B5, which is a bachelor's 5th course, it's on critical thinking skills, and it goes over deductive and inductive reasoning and thinking. And I spent a week, no kidding, a week researching, trying to figure out, and finally conquering the differences between inductive and deductive reasoning. I'm not kidding it. I'm not that stupid of a person, but it took me a week to figure out what it was all about. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to simplify it for you, because that's what I do. Really, simplify it. Okay, so let's talk about deductive arguments, deductive thinking first, okay? Here's the simple explanation. Deductive thinking or reasoning is this: if the premises are true, then the conclusion is guaranteed to be true. That's deductive reasoning. If the premises are true, then the conclusion is guaranteed to be true. Let me give you an example. Take 2 plus 2 plus 2. It equals 6, right? Well, we've got 3 numbers. And if each of those numbers, which we'll call premises, each one's a premise, each 2 is a premise, it's a spot, it's got a 2 in it. If each one of those is 2, and they're true, then the conclusion being 6 is guaranteed, right? It makes sense. 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 6. And if you think of those individual things as premises, then it makes sense. So here, let me give you another example on this. Here's a premise. All whales are mammals. Is that true? Say yes, it's true. Here's a second premise. All mammals suckle their young. Is that true? Yes, it's true. That's the second premise. If those premises are true, then the conclusion that all whales suckle their young is guaranteed to be true. And I'll apply these in a little bit to problem solving. So just think of this. If the premises are true, the conclusion is guaranteed to be true. A little snippet. If you have a conclusion in mind where you want to be, then you need to look at the premises. Maybe you remember algebra back in the day, you know, okay, or not. You can mix and match, you can switch things around and come up with different equations. Well, that's all this is. All right, so remember that. Deductive reasoning is if the premises are true, then the conclusion is guaranteed to be true. Inductive arguments are this. If the premises are true, the conclusion is likely to also be true. I'll give you an example. Socrates was Greek. It's a premise. Most Greeks eat fish. That's a premise. Now, if those two are true, then the conclusion that Socrates ate fish is likely to also be true. Do you see the difference in that? We don't know whether he ate fish. I'm sure he did, but who knows? Who can prove that? This kind of reasoning comes into play with research, paranormal research. When you don't know the premises, when you're doing like even kind of scientific research, you may not know whether a premise is true. Excuse me. You have a hypothesis. That's your premise. So you're looking for an answer. You have a hypothesis here. You have the hypothesis there. You have different aspects of it. So that's where inductive thinking would come into play. Right. I hope that's clear as mud, or clearer. Okay, so let's talk quickly about 4 steps to creative solution finding. The first step is problem and outcome statement. So you need to state what's the problem, and you need to do it clearly. Write a concise but complete statement to reflect what's the current situation. So get a problem in mind. What's the current situation? What's the problem? This is a premise, and you might have different aspects of the problem. Those are premises. Okay? What's your desired outcome? Write it down. Know clearly what you want it to be. Stick to the facts. Don't get all emotional. Just write down what you're working with. And the reason that this is true, Charles F. Kettering, who's an inventor, once wrote, "A problem well stated is a problem half solved." So that's why you want to write these statements down. So the first one is basically write your current situation and your outcome statement. Clarify it. Number 2, step 2, due diligence. You want to dissect the problem to obtain an accurate understanding. You need to answer some questions like, why is this problem a problem? Think about that. What are the premises of this issue? You know, are they facts? List them all. Is this problem subjective or objective? In other words, is this a real problem or is it just a problem in your mind? Now think about that for a minute. Sometimes we think we have problems. They may not be problems anywhere other than in our head. No, that's subjective. The question was, is that objective if it's in your head? No, it's subjective, because you think it. It's subjective to you. You think it's a problem, nobody else might, but you do. Okay, see, we got to put our problems in perspective, really. In most cases, our problems, if they don't get solved, they don't mean that the Earth's going to stop turning and the whole world's going to die, right? We got to put our problems in perspective. Often, problems have no real life of their own. They only have the life that we give them. So it doesn't mean every problem is this way. It just means so often that's the case. So make sure that the problem is not just in your head. Don't give those problems any life of their own if they don't have any on there. So look at these. Remember too, my advice that I've said a few times. If it's a matter of preference, yield. If it's a matter of principle, policy, or law, stand firm. So if you have a problem with somebody and it's just a matter of preference or taste, you don't have a problem. Let it go. Yield. It's not worth the energy to expend to fight on it. Here's another question. What are the consequences of not solving this problem? What are the benefits of resolving this problem or solving it? List those all. So the second step is do your due diligence. Dissect your problem. Number 3, discover solutions. Try to uncover the most logical and appropriate solutions. Answer some of these questions. What would have to change about this problem in order to resolve it? What's got to change? Identify those things. What would I do about this if there was no downside? If I had nothing to lose, what would I do? Answer that question. List all the alternatives, no matter how unlikely. You can brainstorm with somebody if you want. Maybe they'll give you some ideas. Now think contrarian. Do a 180 on it. What should I not do to solve this problem? What would be the stupidest, most outrageous thing to do to solve this problem? Write it down. You never know. What would be completely unorthodox in solving this problem? Write those down, all those alternatives that come to you, because sometimes a solution that you're looking for lies in a different direction. And now I'm going to lay a big one on you. This is a huge, huge nugget. I hope you'll remember it. Sometimes the solution you're looking for lies outside of your belief system. Sometimes the solution you're looking for lies outside your belief system. That means if you are having a hard time solving a problem, you just can't seem to come up with a solution, a couple of things are missing. Either it's the solution is outside of your belief system, so you haven't even considered it, or you don't have enough data. You don't have enough information yet to solve it. But don't dismiss that you need to expand your belief system. Some people's belief system does not allow for divorce, even in a toxic relationship, toxic marriage. I know somebody very well that had that once. You're looking at him. There was no solution to a toxic alcoholic relationship that was inside of my belief system. There was none. It was only until I had no other choice but to expand my belief system that the solution manifested itself. Does that mean that that solution was immoral? No. It wasn't illegal. It was just outside of my belief system. Of course, that whole belief system went where it needed to go, in the trash can. Trade-offs. When you are considering solutions, what are you willing to trade for the solution? Dr. Hunter talks about we can trade up, which is essentially what we do, hopefully. But think of it in cause and effect, action and reaction, right? What are you willing to trade for the solution? Sometimes it's money. If your car is broke down, the solution is take it to a mechanic. What do you trade for that? Money. You traded something for that solution. So think about what would you have to trade? What's going to have to change in order to get this solution? List all the pros and cons on a T-chart. Decide on the most logical, appropriate solution, and then step number 4, implement it. Establish it, double check it, reassess if necessary. If you got to go back through the questions, do it if it doesn't work. And those are the 4 steps. So, big points here. Deductive thinking, if the premises are true, the conclusion is guaranteed to be true. Inductive thinking, if the premises are true, the conclusion is likely to also be true. Used in 2 different areas. Deductive thinking is often used in problem solving because we kind of know what we're dealing with most often. But sometimes we might have to use inductive thinking. It involves more creativity, inductive thinking does. So that's the points of that. All right, so I hope that some of these points were helpful and beneficial. Next up, we're going to give our attention to Dr. Vicki Hunter. And her program is the second part now. We've got third part coming up next week. But tonight's part is Body, Thought, Memory Integration, Part 2, how to change body memory. And then she's going to take us right in and do the meditation. And then once that's done, I'll come back up here and we'll start our Enspirit forum. All right. Dr. Hunter, welcome.
Hello, A.
She heard that.
I heard that. Oh, yes, I picked up on that very well. Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here, and I'm really glad about tonight's topic because it's one of my favorite things. You know, just to talk a little bit about memory first and how we store memory. I'm always fascinated by that. People are on quests to find spiritual memory, whether it's a past life or who you knew before. But even more importantly, if we're a spirit joined with the body, that equals a mind, because to me it's all one big energy. And we're living in that body. The body has memory that very often we're not even conscious of. And I always find that more fascinating, to be honest, than anything, of how we store these experiences and end up tripping over ourselves. And as I call it often, we're emotionally tripping over ourselves and we're not even aware of it. So what is in the body? What is the body about that we can become more conscious of? Because as we grow and learn, we tend to oppress or suppress what we've already learned. Or we intellectualize a healing and think, okay, I'm over that. But you get to the situation and it triggers it and you're all inflamed again. Equally important to how we manage in life is also about learning our own intuition or our sensory perceptions. And we think we have a perception of something, but we're so off base and we're trying to figure out, why was I that off base? It's because there actually is a body memory that creates biases or prejudices. So I want to just recap that for a second and how I see this. Spirit plus a body joins together to equal one mind. And for those who are interested, the mind is actually at the umbilical cord. It's not in the brain. It's the umbilical cord. That's where you're fed in utero. Everything in your life hits you in that gut first. You're having a panic attack. That's where it hits you first. And then, all the wiring spreads to your brain, right? So understand that spirit plus a body equals a mind. In retaining memory, we can say logically that we have, certain experiences in our life. We have an emotional memory, an intellectual memory, and we have all different particles of it. And some of it's positive and some of that's negative. When you encounter something new that could be like some other experience in your life, it right away attaches. So imagine for a moment you're at a group gathering, you meet somebody and you say, wow, what a nice fellow. And you're wondering, why is it you later learn he's not a nice fellow? Well, the nice fellow actually reminded you of some really good people you knew, which was overshadowed then by something even deeper, because there was another frequency attaching, which like attracts like in many ways. But we always encounter people that are new and are, I believe this, like outside our frame of reference. But very often what people usually detect first is the negative. You walk into a room of people and you say, oh, I get a really bad vibe here. This doesn't feel right. Something is really wrong. And yet the evening goes just fine and nothing happens. Well, it could very well be that it had a yellow kitchen and you were a kid and you got spanked in a yellow kitchen and it inflamed. A memory woke up in that second, even though you're not conscious of it. So there really wasn't anything present in this moment to say there's danger. It was a memory that came forward. Now, these are all what I call emotional memories, and they are always active at all times, and our body is storing that, even at the most cellular level. What most people can relate to then by memory is, oh, you get a bad smell. Ooh, I don't like that. Oh, I remember that smell when I was a kid, and that just really bugs me. That one prejudice will have you stop and back up rather than move forward, which, things we don't like does that. So even when it comes to certain people, you can hear somebody's name, and you knew somebody who was, when you were in grade 3 who beat you up, named, Jerry, for instance. You meet a Jerry and you start getting kind of sick to your stomach and get a headache. And yet the situation seems fine, but you can't really figure out what is that about. Well, it's because you didn't consciously remember that Jerry beat you up in grade 3. So, and I think it was a Larry who beat me up in grade 5, actually. so you see, if we can remember these things, that what we're looking at isn't always true. So what Dr. Kelley's talking about, critical thinking can lend also then into the study of ourselves and the study of our bodies and the study of where we are prejudiced or biased in how we can continue to move forward whole. So that would be spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. The best example that I can give you about an emotional memory and how that does tend to trip us up is I was raised a really fat kid. The only fat kid in the family, only fat kid in the neighborhood. My weight went up and down my whole life. Actually, I was doing pretty good for a while, got into menopause, and I was like breathing air and gaining weight. I mean, go figure. One day I was talking to a woman on the phone, and she said, "By the way, I've noticed that you've gained weight. Are you all right?" And right away, I sat up in my chair, and I just, whoa. Now, I felt, I was very conscious of my body and what I was doing, and I went, why am I doing that? I mean, I should be able to consider the source, but my body is really reacting to this, not just mentally, not just emotionally. I am physically reacting to this. Well, of course, raised a fat kid, What was the one message that you always get when you're a kid? Be big and strong. So whenever I related to the stress. Well, whenever I'm going through certain stressful periods, be big and strong. Well, my body heard that as get big and strong. And I went, wow, that's fascinating. Now, that's okay for guys, I guess, but for girls, that's just not a good thing. So that emotional memory just went, whew. And it clicked in my brain that I could talk to my body. And rather than calling it my body, I called it the body. And I said that the last time we talked about this. The reason being is we think we know what our bodies are doing, and we do not. The body knows when to cough, when to sneeze, when to heal itself, and however, we like to think we have control over the body, but we're not listening to what the body is saying. So just to recap from here, there are many, many kinds of memory that cause us biases, that inhibit our intuition, inhibit our sensory perceptions, and inhibit us actually from growing at a whole level. But the memory that is most fascinating that we can each begin to manage is to connect with how to listen to the body and how to move energy with the body, because that is something that we can integrate with and connect with. When I realized that I had to be big and strong when there was stress, every time I felt that, and because you'll know it, once you feel it the first time, you'll recognize it the next time. I would say, "Oh, hold it, body. You don't need to be big to be strong. I got this. We got this." So I was having a partnership with my body. The body started to talk to me in other ways that I had not imagined before, where we could integrate and have a relationship. Because remember, from the very beginning, I say, spirit in a body equals a mind. And we're discovering what that mind is. So from there, I began to try to integrate all the different elements that I had been studying in my life, especially in metaphysics, to use energy, colors, the centers, and how then, for all the things that I can't know about that my body is telling me, how can I then begin to restore my energy in my body as it was designed to be? Because to me, no matter what has accumulated and I keep growing, I want to continue to have that expanding relationship. I can't consciously figure out every tiny little detail that I've been tripping over in my life, but I can have a relationship with the energy, my spiritual energy, my mind energy, and work with my body energy. So as I had said once before, for people who haven't watched the previous shows, in meditations, I avoid, because I think it's healthier, I avoid meditating from the root chakra up. And I avoid that unless I really do want to go astral traveling, because that's what we do. We beam off the planet when we do that. Yes, you'll get spiritually in touch with yourself, but you got to be able to bring it back down and ground into the body. I am an real advocate for grounding in the body, being sensible, and becoming a better human being. So that's the premise of all my work. So I come to that conclusion that we always have to keep working with the consciousness of the body. We have DNA, cellular memory, emotional memory, all kinds of memory. But what can I do with the energy now? So this is where I'm going to take you through a meditation that will begin with the chakras. And it takes about 5 minutes, and you have to just get comfortable and relax for a few minutes. And I'm going to take you through a little bit of a journey, beginning at the top chakra. And the reason I'm very adamant to say this is because there's a lot of people who might be watching this who this goes totally contrary. So again, contrary in thinking. It goes contrary to their belief system about what a meditation is to be. So this is the work that I developed. I know that it's worked for me, and it works for anybody that I've ever worked with over these last many years with this specific meditation. So it's quite, it just moves it, and you just got to be willing to allow me, in the direction of my voice, to work with you and follow the instructions are perfectly safe. All right. So, because right away you're going to start thinking, well, what happens? What happens? Never mind what happens. I'll take you through it, and you can just trust me. So, if everybody would just get comfortable, take a deep breath, and relax. And just relax. 2, 3 very comfortable breaths, and just relax. And as I said to you, we're going to start at the top of your head. Now, that particular energy center is violet. So I'd like you to imagine a violet ball of energy at the top of your head. And just breathe in violet, go to the top of the head, and exhale violet. And just relax. That beautiful color of violet. I'd like you to go back to violet. Now, anything that you can feel or see there, anything that might be shadowy or murky or graying, anything that does not belong to that beautiful violet, I want you to instruct it to move down now. Move it out, down, and relax. Perhaps you're seeing, a waterfall. Perhaps you're seeing little tentacles. Perhaps you're seeing anything that you visualize to release the energy that does not belong in your violet. Down and out now. Don't worry about what happens to it. Release and relax. I'd like you to go back to violet now. Breathe in violet. Exhale violet. Restore that color of violet to the color of your natural design at the time of your birth. Breathe in, out, violet, and relax. Now moving down around the third eye, the forehead, which are the eyes, the sinuses, the pineal gland, is indigo. It's a beautiful, deep, red-blue indigo. Breathe in indigo. Focus on that forehead. Breathe it in, breathe it out, and relax. Comfortably, easily, effortlessly, just relax. Go back to indigo. And once again, anything that does not belong to your indigo, anything shadowy, murky, graying, Anything that dulls your indigo, you instruct it to move down, out, now. Release, let go, and breathe and relax. Go back to indigo. Restore indigo to the color of its natural design at the time of your birth. Breathe in, out, and relax. A little lower is your throat chakra, and it resonates to the color of blue. It's how you speak on your own behalf. Visualize blue, your blue. Breathe in blue, exhale blue, and just relax. Easily, effortlessly, just relax into blue. Visualize the area. Once again, anything that does not belong to your blue, anything that's murky, shadowy, graying, anything that disturbs your color of blue, that does not allow you to speak on your own behalf, you instruct it to move down, out, now. Don't worry about what happens to it. Release it, move it down. Relax. Once again, visualize blue in your throat chakra. Restore its color to the natural design at the time of your birth. Relax, breathe, relax. Moving down into the chest area, the heart chakra covers the lungs. All that upper torso is green. It is the midsection. It is the place right smack in the middle of above and below. Green. Breathe in green, exhale green, and relax. Your shoulders, your chest, let them go and relax. Anything that does not belong to your color of green, anything shadowy, anything murky, anything that disturbs your color of green, instruct it to move down, out, now, and relax. Let it go. Don't worry that colors will overmingle. Don't worry about the density of the color that you're working with. These colors do mingle. And as you move them down, you'll see the mutations. And you're going to go right back to your heart chakra, and you're going to instruct that area to restore its color to the natural time of your birth. The energy that you were born with from your heart restores. Relax, breathe. Easily and effortlessly, just relax. Moving down is yellow. That's the solar plexus, the digestive tract, the upper intestines. Breathe in yellow. Visualize a beautiful yellow ball of light around the solar plexus. Breathe it in. Take it right into your solar plexus and breathe out. Relax. Breathe in the color yellow. Exhale the color yellow. Focus on your solar plexus. Relax easily and effortlessly. Just relax into it. Anything that does not belong to your yellow, anything gray, murky, shadowy, anything that disturbs your yellow, instruct it to move down, out, now. Release. Relax. Let it go. Go back to your yellow, your solar plexus. You instruct that yellow to restore to the color of the natural design at the time of your birth. And relax. Moving down around the navel is orange. It's your creativity, the lower intestines, the kidneys. Orange. Breathe in orange to the best of your ability. Breathe out orange. Visualize all that area right between the hips and above, orange. And once again, visualize in your mind that area, anything that does not belong to your orange. Anything shadowy, graying, murky, cloudy, anything that does not belong to your creativity, that inhibits your creativity, you instruct it to move down now. Release. And breathe. Relax and breathe. Once again, breathe in orange. Visualize that beautiful area, that beautiful chakra. Restore orange to the color of its natural design at the time of your birth. Breathe in orange, exhale, and relax. The root chakra is the base of the spine. It resonates to the color red. Visualize red at the root chakra, the tailbone. That is your life force, the power of how you move in the world. That is your energy for action. Breathe in red, exhale red. And once again, visualize that red, anything that does not belong to your red, anything that's shadowy, murky, cloudy, anything that disturbs your action for life. You instruct it to move down, out, now. Release it to the universe. Let it go. The universe can transform all energy. Release, let go, and breathe. Relax. Go back to red. Restore red to the color of its natural design at the time of your birth. Breathe and relax. Know that all of these colors together are white. From the top of your head to your root chakra, breathe in white. Fill your body with white from the top of your head to the root chakra, white. Breathe it in, breathe it out, relax. Feel the white around your body. You are connected to the universe. You were born to be who you are. You were born to be who you are and walk your own path. Visualize your future in that wonderful white light before you. Release and let go. Breathe and relax. And open your eyes, refreshed and alert. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that it's something that you can remember to do for yourself. There's 3 things to remember. Breathe it in, clear it out, and restore your energy to the time of your birth, because that's where all your purity is, that's where all your memory is, and then you'll get a greater clarity for where you are now, which will take us to next week. We are going to do an exercise. I want you to have pencils and papers if you can, and I'm going to show you how we can access thoughts and where they are in the body. So that's really actually a very powerful and interesting exercise. So a certain methodology that I developed, and so from here we can just take it another step. So I hope that that's good. So you notice there, Dr. Kelley, I got the be who you are and walk your own path, eh?
I did notice that. Thank you, Dr. Hunter. Appreciate it. All right, so you're going to rejoin us here in just a second. We're going to go into our Enspirit forum. I just want to do a couple of quick announcements. First of all, I want to thank those who made donations. We appreciate the help, and it's very kind of you. I also want to take a moment, real brief moment, to just send some positive energy to those in need. Maybe you know someone. I have a couple of students. One's Rebecca, one's Zach. I know they're hurting. I know that they need it, and I have, I'm sure, a bunch of students who could use it. But maybe you know somebody, so I'm going to just take a quick second and send them a energy pulse of good stuff. All right. Next week's program, my part will be separating paranormal fact from fiction. It's an interesting presentation, and Dr. Hunter will then do part 3, a methodology for finding and changing thoughts in the body. And of course, we're in spirit form. Right, one last thing that I want to mention is that I'm honored to have one of our students here tonight. She's visiting the area. I just met her sort of after we started. Liz LeClaire, did I pronounce that right? Very good. And I'm glad to have her. It's always neat to have students join us. I think you're the first one so far. Of course, we just started doing that, it's January. Anyway, she just completed the bachelor's program today. I think she had the second highest, top tier grade. 99.89% was her grade for 5 bachelor's courses. So I wanted, if you wouldn't mind, to present you with your diploma.
Oh, that's so sweet. Oh my God.
I'm a sweet guy, just ask me.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. That's great. So anyway, wanted to do that because I wanted to. Now, we don't have a whole lot of time left, but so if you would like to have a card pulled for you, that's great. We'll do that in just a minute, but how many we got? Oh, Vicki's coming up here. I'm going to do something a little different first, though. I want to do a general reading. Now, we pulled card number 3 at the outset, which is be who you are, walk your own path, right? And that card is actually very apropos for many people. Think about the problem solving. A lot of problems we have in life is because we don't accept who we are. We don't accept the path that we should walk. If that's you, think about it. There's nothing wrong with walking your own path. We have to, and sooner or later you will. Sooner or later. Your choice. You can either take care of the problem now or suffer longer and still take care of it later. But either way, you'll take care of it or die from pain. That's it. So, those out in broadcast land or here, if that applies, then use it. I'm just going to pull a couple of cards for general, see where they take us. I'm just trying something new. This is wild card number 7. It says hope. Someone watching this needs this. Well, we probably all need it. And it's an easy guess, right? Somebody needs to understand that there is hope. I know from my own experience that when you're in the midst of troubles, you look at the horizon and all you see is dark, stormy clouds. You can't see anything past it. I'm here to tell you that it's not too much further beyond those dark, stormy clouds, that it's all clear. And when you get to that part, you're going to wonder why it took you so long to get there. It did for me. I'm thinking, what the heck? I thought all this and this, I created all this monster thing in my head. It wasn't true. It wasn't real. So that's that. I'm going to do another one, and then if you'll let me know, one of you, how many we've got that want cards pulled. This is number 36, gratitude. Number 36 is gratitude. This can be taken in several ways. It might mean that someone here needs to show some gratitude towards someone in their life. It might mean that this is validation for you, that you are showing gratitude in new ways. It kind of relates to paying it forward, doesn't it? When we are grateful, we pay it forward. And there's a card for that too, but it'll fit. So remember the gratitude. The chances of us being here are astronomical. We should be grateful for that. We may not have everything we want, but we probably have everything we need. And we can work on the wants later. All right. How many folks want? Anybody here want a card pulled? Liz? Anyone else? Eileen, okay. Anyone on the, do you know Vicki? Michael, do you know? Nobody wants any? Well, fine then. I won't do it. Okay, if you want one on the chat room, just say so and we'll get to it. And we'll start
Lorena in the
with
chat room.
those here. And then if not, I'll do another one. 2. Okay, so we have 2. I thought there would be some. Okay. So let me shuffle them real quick. 3 now. See, I say that and then everybody wants one. Okay. We probably won't have time to read everything in the guidebook, though, Vicki, on them, the cards I pull. Liz, would you like to pull one, or would you want me to pull one? Okay. This one is 45, inspiration, motivation. I'm going to let,
Well,
that may have some meaning for you. Could go either way. You need to get
that
some
comes
inspiration,
from home,
motivation, but
right?
judging from what I know of you, you probably have plenty of that, but maybe that's a validation to not let it go, it's validation that you are doing what you should be doing. Eileen, would you like to pick one, or do you want me to pick one? Okay. It won't be this one, because I'm not going to shuffle them again. It's a time saver. This one is number 15, belief system, knowledge base. Yeah, Phil's pulled this one. We have the cards over here too, you know, that you can, when you get here a little early, you can come and pull one and see what your thought is for the night. Belief system,
Well, the
knowledge
biggest-
base. Any comments,
The biggest
Vicki?
biggest thing to know is that the knowledge you seek's within, you know, but again, from the very beginning, that maybe your answers are outside your belief system.
Maybe that's good. All right, who do we have in the chat room? Give me a name. Somebody. Lorena. Okay, Lorena. Welcome back. Lorena, 36, gratitude.
Oh,
There's
there you go.
54 cards in this deck. I don't know why. And so that means that, Lorena, that means that there's somewhere to show gratitude that maybe
Well,
you
it's
have
either that or
overlooked.
she needs to receive, to be gracious
could be
about
too.
compliments given to her too.
That's
You know,
true.
it doesn't go just one way.
Great. Okay, I'm going to set this one aside. And who's next? No list? Deb B. I wonder who that is. Hey, Debbie. Debbie. This is number 32, sympathy and empathy. Dr. Hunter, do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, well, you know, sympathy and empathy are a little bit different. And I will read this one because I think it's really important to make that distinction. Mercy is compassion in action, and it fulfills a kind act of paying it forward. Sympathy, which is, you know, sensitivity for others, and empathy, which is relating to others, each requires a need, compassion, and action to fulfill a soul's need to explore, investigate, and educate. Always extend the benefit of the doubt until there's no longer a reason to do so. So, you know, it's really about connecting to other people and knowing that distinction of when you're just being sensitive or you're really relying, and use a bit of wisdom in there. I think that's
Thank
the
you.
message.
Good. And we have a third one, do we? Zach. Okay, Zach. I was wondering when this was going to come up. This is wild card number 9.
Oh, no.
It's blank. We did that on purpose. because Zach knows what this means for him. Look deep,
Yeah,
Zach.
it's like
Go ahead.
it puts you on notice to dig deep within for the answers you seek. It's a blank slate.
Exactly, and tabula rasa, right? And based on the discussion we had on problem solving tonight, be who you are and walk your own path. But you know probably what you need from this one, so that's for you. Okay, is that it for the? We got one more.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Dr. Angie?
Dr. Angie.
You know, I want to thank all the students who and others who join us in the chat room every week. You know, it's a big commitment, and just so grateful to have everybody there. So it's I just want to say that to them. It's fun.
I agree. I appreciate you saying that too. This is card number 13, positive consciousness. Positive consciousness. That's positive consciousness is being positive, inherently positive, not just having a positive attitude, but as being driven, positively driven. It's something that we learn and something that comes from deep within us. Dr. Hunter, any comments on that one?
Well, you know, we can feel like we're positive, but we can be positive negatives. You know, it's like we can be positive on the outside and negative on the inside because there's something, again, even with body memory, that we're tripping over. Positive consciousness is to go really deep inside and feel that from way deep in your heart and to live in that knowing of positive consciousness. It's really choosing. All things that are negative are temporary, and that's the biggest thing to understand about life, is that this too shall pass. So remaining, always having that grounding force of coming back into your own positive consciousness.
All right, thank you. I'm going to pull one more card because somebody needs it. Thomas said so. Not right now. I told you to stop. You believe that?
I wondered when it would happen.
Yeah, really. 14. Card 14. Energy shift, new chapter.
I had
Now-
it open.
Good. This is, well, again, the last card was 13, right? Energy shift, new chapter. That means that it's upon your doorstep. And if you combine that with walk your own path, be who you are, it's time for an energy shift. It's time to look at the new chapter in your life. Anything else, Dr. Hunter?
Just says out with the old and in with the new. Eh?
All right.
Had to do it. I couldn't resist.
I
Couldn't
wouldn't.
resist.
All right.
You know, if I could just
go ahead.
really, if I could just read that number 3, what we drew in the very beginning, and I understand
Okay.
people, yeah, you know, be who you are and walk your own path, but you are uniquely designed, one of a kind, universal being, equally entitled to all good things, the same as everyone. Drawing this card, if you do, which we did, encourages you to be who you are and to walk your own path, not comparing yourself with others. Give yourself permission to accept who and what you are. Move forward in the direction you need to take that best fulfills yourself. Remember that you are a spirit joined with a body to make a very unique mind. Walk your own path.
Yep, because we all deserve that without judgment. All right, so to just continue on with Dr. Hunter's thank yous, we appreciate everyone joining us tonight here in this audience, because it is a commitment. It is something you have to do, and sometimes it'd be easier just to, you know, pop the TV on and all. And those of you who are watching the live broadcast out online, we appreciate your time. And those watching the archives, we appreciate it too. So thank you very much. Thank you to Dr. Hunter for presenting her proprietary information on the body, thought, memory. Thanks to Michael Kelley for engineering our broadcast. Thanks to Tina Balderrama for moderating our chat room. And again, thanks to everyone for being part of this. Hope to see you next week. Thank you.